But here, just to start with, we're just gonna put some lead white. So in my opinion, the best lead white is Michael Harding's Kremnitz white. Kremnitz is just the name of the town where it's made. There's different names for lead white, silver white, Kremnitz white, Blanco d'Argento, which is also silver white, and lead white. Foundation white is another one you'll find. That's a mixture of titanium and lead. The next color that we need is a yellow, an earth yellow, in this case a light yellow ochre. This one I'm using Rublev yellow ochre. One is a red, cadmium red. Then the next one is, I put burnt sienna or red umber. Red umber is hard to come by. It's a very specific color. Put both down. Red umber by Michael Harding. Sorry, not Michael Harding, Old Holland. Or burnt sienna. I like to use another good brand of paint is a Portugal handmade paint called Dartecor. See the difference between them. This red is trying to run away. Again, depending on the brand, you get different colors. But what I'm going to do is I'll string these out to show you how they look. Then the next color is the burnt sienna. Sorry, not burnt sienna, burnt umber. Then on the list, I think the next color was the olive green. And then black. Ivory black. There's different blacks, but ivory black is the one I usually go to. It's a cooler black. It used to be made from ivory tusks. Obviously, it's not anymore. And now it's made from crushed bones. Here's a bit more burnt umber. Now to see the character of these colors, what I like to do is just string them out with a bit of white. You don't need to, the lighter colors aren't really that necessary to string them out. So it just gives you an idea of what the colors are. So I just pull this from thick to thin and just mix up a couple different values. So it's like you have three piles of colors, one kind of the dark colors it comes out of the tube, one medium color, and then one that's a bit lighter. So you can see, hopefully, how the palette works. If I'll do a couple of lighter versions of this. So it goes from lighter colors to darker as you go around. Now remember, there's three aspects of colors that you have to take in consideration when you're trying to mix up or identify another color. The first one, most common, is what we call the hue. The hue would be the name of the color, so red, yellow, green, blue, black is a blue. These umbers also have a hue, you know, red, orange, orange. So that's the first thing, so the hue. The next thing you want to try to identify is the value, so how light, how dark the color is. And that's on a scale from 1 to 9, with 1 being white and 9 being black. So we do have the full range of value on this palette. Of course, we can never reach what's happening in reality, but we have these extremes, and we put those down at some point fairly early on in the painting to get what we call the key of the painting, which is just the full range of values that you're using in that painting. Sometimes you don't have a full key, you don't have a full range. You might have a limited range, it's on the light side, or a limited range, it's on the dark side. But for what we're doing, it's going to be the full range, what they call a major key. And then the third one is what we call the chroma. That would be like brilliance or dullness. So if we take a look at these two reds here, we can say that this is a brighter or has a higher chroma than that one, right? This black, let's say black without white mixed into it, is a very low chroma, low dark value blue. So you ask yourself those three questions when you're trying to identify a color. So what I do is I have people start with a mixture, kind of a start off mixture here of an orange, kind of a dull orange. Now flesh is really just a dull orange, either a little bit more on the kind of yellow green side or a little bit more on the red side. So you got to be careful with the cadmium. It can be a very powerful color, so you don't need much of that compared to what you need of yellow ochre. That looks. And then you can mix out a couple different values of that as well, just to see what it looks like. Again, depending on your model. This base flesh color, the red and yellow mixed with white, is going to be kind of the starting flesh tone. It's a good place just kind of as an average. Right? If you kind of look at how that looks, it's just mine is actually a little bit duller and darker, but this is a good point for, say, that what would be like the lightest point on the figure. And then as it goes around, these colors also working with these kind of either a little bit more red to red yellow, and even to a tiny bit of green if you need to. Now you can add more colors in here. There's intermediate colors, like you can. I often will add a titanium white. I will often add a brighter yellow, either a cadmium yellow or a Naples yellow. This particular burnt sienna is quite red. Usually they're a little bit more orange. Probably if you have one, it's going to be a little bit more orange than this, closer to that actually. The idea being, if you take a look at this color, it is actually kind of like a darker flesh color, or a flesh and shadow. So these are just starting points. So this would be a darker flesh color. The burnt umber with a bit of white somewhere in there would be a good shadow color. Greens can sometimes be green halftones on your drawing. Also, this first half is quite warm, so the green and the black, they kind of cut or counteract some of that warmth. Okay.